If you're watching this, it's not by accident. You didn't randomly scroll here or click out of habit. This moment, this very second, is a divine appointment, a sacred interruption in your timeline. God has drawn you here, not just to hear a message, but to experience a prophetic shift. You are not just hearing words, you are standing on holy ground. This is the moment when the heavens lean in and whisper, your season is changing. For too long, you have wandered through a desert of lack, financial lack, emotional lack, spiritual lack. You've cried in silence, questioned your worth, and wondered why the breakthrough always seems to pass by your door. But now, something in your spirit knows this isn't just another video. This is a holy signal. The drought is ending. The season of struggle is closing. And the rain of provision is beginning to fall. You've been through the fire, not to be burned but to be refined. You've endured nights of tossing and turning, counting the hours until sunrise, only to face another day of uncertainty. You've watched others rise, succeed, celebrate, while you've quietly suffered and carried burdens that few could see. You've whispered prayers through tears, prayers that sometimes felt unanswered. But let this truth take root in your soul, God heard every word. Not one cry, not one tear, not one breath of hope went unnoticed. And now, the shift has begun. This is the hour of divine reversal. The doors that were once sealed shut are opening, not by your force but by God's favor. Let me ask you, what if your entire life has been leading to this moment? What if every loss, every rejection, every no was setting the stage for the one yes that would change everything? What if you're not broken, but positioned? What if the struggle wasn't punishment, but preparation? If something within you stirs as you hear these words, it's because your spirit recognizes the truth. You were never forgotten. You were never forsaken. You were being forged. And now, God is saying, the work that will make you a millionaire, it's already been decided. This isn't about chasing money or prosperity for vanity's sake. This is about the fulfillment of divine assignment. The wealth that is coming is not for ego, it is for impact. You have been chosen to be a steward, not a consumer. God's plan is not to merely make you rich, but to make you responsible for blessings that heal others. This financial breakthrough is not just about income, it's about inheritance. It is about stepping into the fullness of what heaven has already scripted for your life. Think about it, how many years have you spent surviving? Fighting to make ends meet? Watching dreams collect dust on the shelf of someday? But now, the voice of the Lord is clear, no more someday. The shift is now. And here's the truth you must embrace with everything in you, this moment is not about chance, it's about calling. It's not about coincidence, it's about covenant. God has already decided your breakthrough. The blueprint has already been drawn. The miracle is already in motion. And you, chosen one, are the one being summoned to walk into it. This is why we don't just ask you to like or comment for the sake of engagement. We invite you into a divine act of agreement. Clicking like is more than support, it's a physical expression of spiritual alignment. Subscribing isn't just to follow a channel, it's to follow a calling. And commenting 99. That's not just a number. It's a declaration. A signal. A key. When you write 99, you are saying to the universe, I am ready. I believe. I claim the abundance that heaven has released in my name. That number becomes a spiritual marker, a banner that flies over your life declaring the end of one season and the beginning of another. Do you feel it? That gentle stirring in your chest. That inner knowing that this message isn't entertainment, it's instruction. That this isn't a coincidence, it's confirmation. If your spirit is leaping, it's because the truth is resonating. And if you're tempted to scroll past, ask yourself, why now? Why does this feel so personal? Why does it feel like God is speaking directly to me? Because He is. He has seen your silent battles. He knows the weight you've carried, the doors that wouldn't open, the promotions that never came, the bills that piled up while your faith barely held together. And yet, He's still calling you. Not to remind you of where you've been, but to reveal where you're going. This is not just the start of a new chapter, it's the turning of an entire book. The old story, the one filled with debt, disappointment, and delay, is being closed. And in its place, a new narrative is unfolding. One where provision flows, where creativity produces wealth, where divine connections lead to supernatural opportunities. You are being written into a story of overflow, and this is the opening line. But here's the question that only you can answer: will you believe it? Will you receive it? Will you say yes? Because while heaven has already decided, God is still waiting for your agreement. He won't force it on you. He invites you into it. You must step forward. You must declare, "This is for me." And when you do, when you activate your faith with your action, something powerful begins to shift. So right now, pause. Breathe. Let this truth wash over you: you are not forgotten, you are not overlooked, you are not behind. You are exactly where you need to be, at the exact moment God has chosen to reveal His abundance. This is your moment. Not tomorrow, not next week. Now. And you didn't just find this video, you were found by it. Now, step through the door God has opened. Like the video. Subscribe to the channel, and stand in agreement with others who are stepping into their season. And if you believe this is your appointed time, comment 99 below, not just as a number, but as your prophetic signature. Let heaven and earth witness your declaration. Because chosen one, your waiting is over. The season of begging has ended. The work that will make you a millionaire is no longer hidden, it has been decided. The only thing left to do is receive it, believe it, and walk in it. This is your moment. Let's begin. There's something sacred about surviving a storm that was meant to break you. For the chosen ones, the past season hasn't just been hard, it's been brutal. Maybe you felt the weight of invisible battles, the kind no one else saw. Nights where you stared at the ceiling, exhausted yet unable to sleep, your mind racing with financial anxiety. Mornings where you put on a brave face, smiled at your family, and pushed through even though your heart was silently screaming for relief. This wasn't just a rough patch, it felt like a cycle that never ended. You've prayed, fasted, given, and still wondered, "God, when will things finally shift?" The pressure has been overwhelming, and you've probably asked yourself if God was even listening. But He was. And He still is. The tears you cried in the dark. He caught them all. The sacrifices you made when no one noticed. He honored every single one. The sleepless nights, the missed opportunities, the closed doors, the seasons where you had to choose between bills and groceries, none of it was wasted. God has seen every hidden battle and every quiet act of faith. And here's the truth: what looked like delay was really preparation. You weren't being punished, you were being positioned. This pain you've carried was never the end of your story. It was the refining fire that forged you into someone who can handle what's coming next. Just like gold must pass through fire to have its impurities burned away, you were placed in pressure not to be crushed, but to be purified. What tried to bury you has only made you stronger. And now, the soil that once held your pain is about to birth your provision. God didn't forget you. He was working behind the scenes, molding you, shaping you, strengthening you, not for survival, but for supernatural success. Have you ever asked yourself why the struggle was so intense? Why the opposition was relentless? Why the blessing seemed to take so long? It's because what's coming isn't small. It's significant. You weren't waiting for a moment, you were being prepared for a movement. And now, that movement is beginning. God has declared that your season of hardship is over. Let that sink in. Say it out loud if you have to: my financial hardship is over. You've passed the test. The training season has ended. The breakthrough is no longer on the way, it's here. So now, take a moment and reflect. Can you see it? The hand of God, gently leading you through your lowest valleys, not to leave you there, but to bring you to the mountaintop. He's been walking beside you this whole time, even when you felt most alone. And now, He's standing in front of you, holding open a door that no man can shut. That pressure you felt wasn't for nothing, it was preparation for promotion. This is your moment to shift your mindset. You are no longer a victim of your circumstances. You are not cursed, forgotten, or abandoned. You are called, chosen, and crowned with favor. Every past trial has been a setup for a future triumph. The lack you endured will be the reason you appreciate the abundance. The loneliness you faced will be the soil where new, divine relationships are planted. The rejection you endured will fuel the confidence you walk in today. And here's the most important shift of all: stop asking, will it ever happen, and start declaring, I've been prepared for this. Your breakthrough didn't skip you, it's been waiting for you to realize that you're ready. You're not walking into this next season by accident. You're stepping into it as someone who has been tested and approved, someone who knows what it means to endure, and now someone who is about to be elevated. So let me ask you, what if your breakthrough didn't come sooner because it needed the version of you that could carry it with honor? What if now is the time because only now are you truly equipped for what's ahead? The delay was not denial, it was design. You've been in the cocoon, and now it's time to emerge. The pain was your proof that you're chosen. The pressure was the prophecy being fulfilled. And now, the provision is here. Get ready. Because your life is about to shift in ways that will leave you and everyone around you in awe. Get ready for financial stability that replaces every fear. Get ready for clarity that replaces confusion. Get ready for divine direction where there was once disorientation. This is not a gentle turn, this is a bold breakthrough. The test is over. The refinement is complete. And the breakthrough? It has arrived. Now lean in, because what's coming next will reveal just how divinely orchestrated your journey has been, and it all starts right here. There's a pain that's hard to describe, the sting of being judged not for who you are, but for what you lack. And if you're one of God's chosen ones, you've likely felt that sting more than once. Perhaps it was the look someone gave you when they realized you couldn't afford what others could. Or maybe it was the silence of people who used to call you family or friend, vanishing the moment your bank account dried up. These weren't just fleeting moments of discomfort, they were deep wounds that told you you didn't measure up in the eyes of the world. You were overlooked, underestimated, and sometimes outright disrespected, not for your character, but because you didn't have enough. But here's the truth, God saw it all. He heard the whispers behind your back, the jokes made at your expense, and the pity hidden behind fake encouragement. He was there in every moment you felt like shrinking into the background, in every family gathering where your silence replaced the confidence you once carried. And He didn't just watch, He was storing it all, every moment, every offense, every insult, for such a time as this. Because the time has come. And what's coming isn't a quiet redemption. No, God is about to speak so loudly on your behalf that the very mouths that mocked you will be silenced. This isn't about revenge, it's about revelation. God is about to reveal to the world exactly who He has called you to be, and He's going to do it in a way no one can deny. You won't have to defend yourself. You won't have to explain. You won't have to prove your worth to anyone. Your financial elevation will speak for itself. Have you ever wondered why it hurt so much to be judged by the people closest to you? Why their rejection felt heavier than any bill or unpaid debt? It's because deep down, you expected them to see your heart, not your wallet. But they couldn't. Or they wouldn't. And while their love may have been conditional, God's love is not. He loved you when you had nothing. He called you when no one else could see your value. And now, He's about to bless you in a way that makes everyone else finally see what He saw all along. Imagine this, you walk into a room where once you were ignored, and now you're honored. The same mouths that once whispered, they'll never make it, now whisper, how did it happen? And the answer will be simple, God. Not luck. Not hustle. Not human favor. but divine elevation. Because what God is about to do for you cannot be bought, predicted, or denied. It's going to be a display of love that shuts down every critic and silences every lie. What if the very people who turned away from you will now turn back just to witness your transformation? What if the same family members who once distanced themselves now look at you with awe, unable to explain what they see? What if the judgment that once hung over you becomes the backdrop for a testimony so powerful it changes how others see God? This is not just financial breakthrough, it is vindication. This is God stepping into your story, not with quiet comfort, but with undeniable demonstration. And what will that demonstration look like? Overflow. Increase. Favor. Open doors. Surprising promotions. Unexpected business success. Divine provision that causes people to ask questions, and for you to respond with a simple truth: God did it. So let me ask you, have you forgiven the ones who doubted you? Have you released the weight of proving yourself to those who never saw you clearly? Because what's coming will make that effort unnecessary. God will vindicate you in ways words never could. The elevation coming to your life will not only restore your confidence, it will rewrite the narrative others have written about you. And let's be clear, this is not about pride or revenge. This is about purpose. God is blessing you not just to bless you, but to bless through you. The wealth He's releasing isn't just personal, it's prophetic. It declares that He still honors faithfulness. That He still sees the overlooked. That He still lifts up the humble in due season. So if you've been ridiculed, dismissed, or disrespected because of your lack, take heart. Because your wealth will become the proof of God's love for you. It will become the sound that replaces silence, the evidence that replaces every empty apology. No longer will people question your worth. They will witness your worth. And they will see God in you. Get ready, chosen one. The critics won't have anything to say, not because you've changed their minds, but because God has changed your season. You are about to move from being the one they overlooked to being the one they can't ignore. And from here forward, it's no longer about what they said, it's about what God is saying. And what He's saying now is clear: the time for vindication has come. For so long, you may have lived under a label that never belonged to you: poor, struggling, just surviving. You may have even accepted it as your identity, convinced that it was your lot in life. But today, God tears that false label off your life and declares something entirely different: you are no longer poor. This is not a motivational slogan, it is a divine declaration. It is heaven rewriting your story and resetting your mindset. The poverty you once carried is not your destiny. It was only a chapter, never the conclusion. And now, you are stepping into a new season, a season heaven itself has programmed for you, a season of overflowing prosperity. This is not about simply having more money in your account. It's about a complete realignment of your spiritual identity. You're not just moving from lack to enough, you're shifting from just enough to more than enough. No longer will your life be governed by limitations or defined by the grind of paycheck to paycheck survival. That chapter is closed. What opens now is a divine setup, one where provision is not your pursuit but your portion. Have you ever stopped to consider that perhaps the struggle wasn't a sign of absence, but preparation for abundance? That what you thought was delay was actually design. God didn't just bring you through hardship so you could recover. He refined you so that when the abundance comes, you'll know exactly how to carry it, with wisdom, with purpose, and with the humility that knows it all came from Him. The season you are stepping into isn't just about you being blessed. It's about you becoming a blessing. The resources that are coming your way are not just for comfort but for calling. God is not preparing you for consumerism, He is positioning you for kingdom expansion. You are not just stepping into a better job, or a more profitable business, you are stepping into an assignment that will glorify God through the abundance He places in your hands. Let that sink in, you are now stepping into your inheritance. This is not something you earn by working harder than everyone else. This is not something you win through striving. It is a promise written in heaven, sealed by grace, and now delivered in your life. Jeremiah 29 verse 11 reminds us that God's plans for you are to prosper you, to give you a future and a hope. And that prosperity isn't limited to spiritual comfort, it includes real, tangible provision. Abundant provision. Overflowing provision. This overflow, this abundance, is not random. It's not luck. It is the result of divine orchestration. God is shifting your financial position because He's shifting your spiritual posture. Where once you lived with your head down, weighed by need, you will now walk with your head high, humbled but confident in the supply of heaven. Where once you prayed to simply make it through the week, now you will pray for wisdom to steward the wealth He's entrusting to you, not just for your needs, but for the needs of others. What would change in your life if you believed, really believed, that prosperity is part of your purpose? What dreams would you finally revisit? What people would you begin to bless? What vision would you begin to build? The overflow is coming, not just to rescue you, but to reassign you. God is preparing you to operate as a conduit of His generosity, not just a consumer of His blessing. And this isn't a vague hope. This is a shift already in motion. This is the moment where the declarations of heaven are colliding with your life on earth. No longer will you just talk about God's promises. You will walk in them. You will live in them. You will demonstrate them. And your life will become undeniable proof that God still blesses those who trust Him, who wait on Him, and who stay faithful when no one else is watching. So now, let me ask you, what are you preparing to do with the overflow that's coming? Have you built the mindset and heart to steward it well? Will you use it just to prove people wrong, or to lift others up? Because this season isn't just about elevation, it's about transformation. You are not just going to be richer, you are going to be different. Elevated. Empowered. Commissioned. You were not created to live small. You were not called to constantly struggle. You were made for impact, and that impact begins with understanding your worth in God's economy. You are heaven's investment, and your return is now being released. No more self-doubt. No more playing it safe. No more apologizing for the greatness God has placed inside of you. It's time to own it. To walk in it. To live as someone who knows that prosperity is not a surprise, it's your inheritance. This is your time. The overflow is your portion. You are not entering into wealth alone, you are being ushered into a divine structure where your provision aligns with your purpose. Where what you carry in your spirit now becomes visible in your life. Where the struggle ends and the assignment begins. You are no longer who you were. The old has passed away. Behold, all things have become new, including your bank account, your opportunities, and your financial identity. And this overflow, is only the beginning. Because now that you've stepped into divine provision, what's coming next is supernatural opportunity. Stay ready. The door is opening. Let's move forward. There comes a moment in every chosen one's life when what once felt impossible begins to unfold without resistance. Not because you finally worked harder, shouted louder, or climbed higher, but because heaven moved. This, right now, is that moment. The season of striving has ended, and God is placing before you an opportunity so aligned, so unmistakably tailored for you, that it will redefine how you understand favor, provision, and purpose. Whether you're unemployed, underpaid, stuck in a stagnant job, or searching for direction, this message is not limited to one status or situation. God's word through this moment covers every category. If you're out of work, He's not just bringing you a job, He's opening the door to $1 million opportunity. Not a random gig. Not a temporary fix. A calling. A divine placement that will elevate you financially and position you for long-term prosperity. If you've been showing up faithfully at a job where your value is ignored, where your pay does not reflect your potential, get ready. God is about to shift your name to the top of the list. He's going to cause your supervisors and colleagues to see what He already declared about you, that you are chosen, appointed, and ready for elevation. And if you've been tirelessly searching, filling out applications, sending resumes, praying through disappointment. Listen closely. You won't need to keep chasing after doors that won't open. God is about to build something through you. A business. A vision. A venture that's been buried inside your spirit, waiting for this moment of release. This is not about you becoming a millionaire for status. This is about stepping into a blueprint heaven designed long before you ever asked for breakthrough. This assignment is not something you need to compete for. You don't have to convince the world you're worthy of it. You don't need to hustle in the shadows or prove your worth by human standards. God has already decided the work that will make you a millionaire. That means it's not being negotiated in boardrooms, it's being activated in the spirit. It won't require you to strive for it, it will come to you as a result of divine favor. Not luck. Not chance. Favor. Let this truth sink in. What others have to fight to earn, you will receive by walking in obedience. What they toil to build, you will birth through grace. God is about to give you wealth without the toil. That doesn't mean laziness, it means alignment. He's about to show you that when your work flows from calling, and your steps follow His leading, the results are supernatural. This wealth will not come through endless hustle, it will come through heaven's strategy. This is effortless abundance, not because it costs nothing, but because God already paid the cost in advance. Now take a moment to reflect. Could it be that your waiting season wasn't a waste, but a setup? That the delays weren't rejections, but redirections? What if the very thing you've been crying for is already written in your future, and this moment, right now, is the turning point where it begins to unfold? This is the core message of this part. Your financial status is changing because your identity is being activated. You're not just someone with potential, you're someone with a purpose. You're not just walking into a better job, you're walking into a divine assignment, chosen specifically for you to glorify God through wealth and impact. He is not just changing your employment, He's changing your elevation. So, what will you do with this opportunity? Will you question whether you're worthy of it, or will you step into it with boldness, knowing that the assignment carries your name, and no one else can fulfill it like you can? Ask yourself, are you ready to move when the door opens? Are you prepared to say yes to the work that doesn't just pay your bills, but funds your mission? You're not here by accident. This moment isn't random. It's not a motivational video, it's a divine blueprint being whispered into your spirit. The Holy Spirit is confirming what your heart has long suspected. This is not a fluke. This is God's divine plan unfolding. And now, all that's required is your agreement with heaven. Because when you say yes to the assignment, you say yes to the overflow. You say yes to influence. You say yes to being the lender, not the borrower. And as you walk into this divinely orchestrated work, whether it's a job, a promotion, a business, or a creative calling, know this, it will not be temporary. This is not a fleeting moment of favor. This is the beginning of permanent wealth, designed to carry you and bless others through you. You're not just about to receive income. You're about to walk into impact. And what happens next will speak for itself. And now, as we shift into what God is about to unlock publicly through your private obedience, prepare your heart, because the elevation is not coming. It's already here. There's something sacred about the word now when it's spoken by heaven. It's not just about time, it's about timing. Divine timing. When God says now, He's not referring to a vague hope, or a distant tomorrow, or something you'll have to chase for years. He means now. Right here. Right where you are. This is your moment. For so long, you've waited. You've wondered. You've questioned whether the breakthrough would ever come, if the things you've prayed for would ever reach your hands. You've heard soon so many times, it started to sound like a delay rather than a promise. But this isn't soon. This is now. Your financial breakthrough is no longer on the way, it is arriving. Not tomorrow. Not next week. Now. The atmosphere around you is shifting. The doors are unlocking. And the divine announcement over your life is this: it's time. Can you feel the urgency in your spirit? Not the panic of the world, but the pull of destiny. It's as if heaven is leaning in, whispering into your heart, don't miss this moment. Because what's about to unfold won't be gradual or predictable, it will be sudden. Radical. Unmistakable. The windows of heaven are opening, not with a drizzle, but with a downpour. A downpour of provision, favor, and opportunity. This is not a season of slow growth, it is a season of supernatural acceleration. The opportunities that are about to find you were hidden before, unseen, unreachable. But God is parting the clouds, removing the barriers, and revealing the path. Suddenly, doors will open that were once sealed shut. Suddenly, the phone will ring. Suddenly, your inbox will light up. Suddenly, the thing you thought would never happen will happen in a way you never imagined. It will be so swift, so clear, so undeniable, that not even your deepest doubts will be able to stand in its way. You've lived in a season of barely enough. Scraping by. Trying to believe, while trying not to break. But that season ends now. God's not just bringing you out of lack, He's launching you into overflow. And it won't be a quiet transformation. It will be so bold, so abundant, that it will silence every critic, every mocker, every doubter. There are people who laughed at your struggle, who dismissed your dreams, who decided your lack would last forever. But they didn't account for divine timing. God is about to shut their mouths, not with revenge, but with blessing. So overwhelming, so transformative, that the only thing they'll be able to do is stare in awe. You won't have to defend yourself. You won't have to explain anything. Your breakthrough will do the talking. Your promotion, your business, your financial increase, it will all be living proof that God has had His hand on you the entire time. This is not a comeback. This is a revelation. God is revealing what He's been preparing in secret. So I ask you, can you receive this moment? Can you dare to believe that what you've prayed for, what you've cried over, what you've fasted and labored and suffered through, has finally arrived? Will you make room in your heart for it? Will you step forward with boldness into what has already been released? Don't look back. Don't talk yourself out of it. Don't wait for more signs. This is the sign. This is the season. This is your appointed time. You are not late. You are not overlooked. You are exactly where God wants you, and everything that's been delayed is about to be delivered. God's timing is not just perfect, it's intentional. He waited for the moment when your character matched your calling. When your patience had been proven. When your humility had taken root. And now, because of that, He is lifting you. Not just to bless you, but to show the world what His faithfulness looks like in human form. The floodgates are opening. Can you feel it? The shift is not coming, it has already begun. You're not stepping into favor. You're standing in it. The ground beneath you is holy, because it's been prepared for this very breakthrough. And the weight you've been carrying, it's being lifted. Not piece by piece, but all at once. From this moment forward, you're no longer waiting. You're receiving. You're no longer hoping. You're stepping in. The time of God is not a distant future, it is here. The blessing is not an abstract promise, it is being fulfilled. Now. And as this moment unfolds in power, the Spirit of God is already guiding you toward what's next, an open door that leads to more than just increase. It leads to your divine assignment, to visible proof of His presence in your life, and to the kind of overflow that changes not only your life, but every life connected to yours. There is a divine principle written into the foundations of God's Word, a principle not often spoken of, but powerfully at work right now. It's called the wealth transfer. A sacred shift where God takes the riches, resources, and influence that have been stored, hoarded, or even misused by the unrighteous, and places them directly into the hands of the righteous. Not by force, not by manipulation, but by divine orchestration. And chosen one, this shift has already begun. You are not just being blessed for yourself. You are being appointed as a steward of divine provision. A vessel through which the abundance of heaven flows, not to be stored up in fear, but to be released in purpose. God is not looking for recipients. He is looking for distributors. Carriers of kingdom wealth who understand that money is a tool, not a throne. That provision is meant to build, not just to boast. The wealth that is coming to you is not an accident. It is not luck. It is the result of a heavenly plan unfolding in real time. A plan to fund the dreams God placed in your spirit. A plan to help the poor, to finance missions, to launch ministries, to rescue the overlooked and empower the powerless. You are being called into a season where your provision becomes someone else's answer to prayer. What if the increase you've been waiting for isn't just about meeting your needs, but about meeting someone else's as well? What if the reason God allowed the lack for a time was to purify your motives, so that when He blessed you, you'd remember who the real source was? Are you ready to receive not just for yourself, but for His kingdom? Let me ask you, when the wealth begins to flow, will you see yourself as a recipient, or as a river? Will you hold it or release it? Because this is not just about money, it's about trust. God is releasing this wealth because He trusts you to carry it with purpose, to guard it with integrity, and to use it in ways that reflect His heart. You are meant to be a distributor of wealth, not just a recipient. That line isn't just a nice phrase, it's a commissioning. It's a mantle. And it requires a shift in identity. You are no longer the one who scrapes to survive. You are the one who sows. You are the one who builds. You are the one who answers the cry for help, because now you're positioned to be the help. This transfer isn't about indulgence. It's about impact. The resources God is placing in your hands are designed to create ripple effects in the world around you. Every dollar has an assignment. Every blessing carries a burden of responsibility. And as the wealth increases, so will your reach. So will your ability to lift others. So will your authority to shift environments, because now, you're not just walking in provision. You're walking in power. Scripture confirms this over and over. Proverbs 13 verse 22 says, "The wealth of the sinner is stored up for the righteous." That means what others have used to manipulate and oppress, God is about to reclaim and repurpose for good. Every system that tried to shut you out, God is breaking open. Every door that was closed because you didn't have the finances, God is unlocking. Why? Because He's about to use you to show what kingdom wealth looks like in the hands of the faithful. This is no longer about personal prosperity. It's about divine purpose. God is raising up kingdom financiers, marketplace prophets, business leaders with holy boldness, creatives with influence, parents with provision, teachers with resources, counselors with support. Every industry, every community, God is placing wealth in strategic hands. And if you're reading this, you are one of them. But with this shift comes a question that must be answered in your heart: what will I do with what God gives me? Will I bury it like the servant who feared losing it, or will I multiply it like the one who trusted the master's reward? This is your invitation not just to receive, but to reign. Not to dominate, but to steward. Not to hoard, but to give. Because the more you give, the more you'll be entrusted with. Let go of any shame attached to wealth. Poverty is not a virtue, and riches are not a curse. What matters is the heart behind it. And your heart? It's been tested, refined, proven faithful. That's why God is choosing you now, not because you're perfect, but because you're aligned. Because He knows you'll use what He gives you to bless, not to boast. This is your moment of kingdom responsibility. The transfer is already in motion. You're not begging for provision anymore, you're preparing to manage overflow. You're not waiting at the gates, you're being handed the keys. What others have stored up without purpose is about to become fuel for your assignment. Get ready to fulfill your calling, to invest in your future, and to help others along the way. The wealth transfer has begun, and your name is on the list. You've been chosen not just to receive abundance, but to release it. Not just to witness the shift, but to lead it. So the question remains, when it comes to your hands, what will you build? There comes a moment in every divine journey where the silence breaks. A moment when what was hidden becomes visible, and what was once sealed begins to swing open wide. Chosen one, you have entered such a moment. Not tomorrow. Not next year. But now. This is the beginning of an open door season, and it's happening in ways you could never have scripted, planned, or anticipated. Suddenly and without warning, doors are unlocking. These are not random doors or recycled opportunities. These are doors you once thought were out of reach. Invitations to rooms you believed were reserved for others. Pathways you assumed were permanently closed. And yet now, they are opening, quietly, powerfully, and undeniably, because God has declared that this is your time. He is not sending signs for your curiosity, He is sending them for your confirmation. This is not coincidence. It is the activation of divine timing. But here's what makes this moment even more extraordinary: you don't have to fight for these doors to open. You don't need to beg, strive, or hustle to earn your way in. Because the one who holds the keys is already unlocking them for you. You won't have to fight to get in the door, the message said. Because God Himself is the one unlocking it. And when God opens a door, no man can shut it. For too long, you felt like you were on the outside looking in. Watching others succeed. Watching opportunities pass. Wondering if your turn would ever come. But what if I told you that your silence was never your disqualification, it was God's preparation? He wasn't ignoring you. He was aligning everything, setting the stage, and guarding the perfect door until the exact right time. And that time is now. Are you ready to step into a place you didn't think you were qualified for? Ready to sit at tables you didn't build, occupy rooms you didn't fund, and walk through doors you didn't open yourself? Because this is the reality of divine favor. It takes you beyond human effort and into God's orchestration. But make no mistake, these doors may open suddenly, but your preparation has been long in the making. Your faith, your obedience, your perseverance, they've all brought you here. This is not the moment to hesitate. These doors are not symbolic, they are spiritual assignments becoming physical realities. Business opportunities. Job promotions. Strategic relationships. Financial alignments. Ministry breakthroughs. Creative acceleration. God is not only sending provision, He's aligning it with purpose. And each door is a step deeper into the call He placed on your life. But here's the question: will you recognize the door when it appears? Because often, opportunity doesn't look the way we expect. Sometimes, it shows up in the form of a phone call, a casual conversation, a seemingly ordinary chance encounter. And sometimes, it doesn't look impressive at first, but carries divine weight beneath the surface. Will you be spiritually sensitive enough to see it? Will you be courageous enough to walk through it? Step through those doors with confidence, knowing that they are ordained by God. That is your charge. Do not let fear hold you back. Do not second-guess the very thing you've been praying for. This is not a test. This is the manifestation of everything God has promised. The time of circling the mountain is over. The delay has lifted. The door is open. But remember this: when a door opens by God's hand, it will require your step of faith. It's not enough to stand in awe. It's not enough to admire it from afar. You must move. Because obedience is the only key that turns an open door into an entered one. And once you step in, everything begins to shift. You will begin to see divine connections form that you didn't initiate. You'll receive favor in rooms where no one knows your name. You'll find yourself walking into places that have been waiting for your arrival. And when people ask how you got there, your answer will be simple: God opened the door. So today, ask yourself, what have I been praying for that might now be standing right in front of me? What have I been waiting on that God may already be sending? Am I watching for the door, or am I still living like nothing has changed? This is your moment to wake up, lift your eyes, and discern the signs. Because the doors are not coming, they are here. The air has shifted. The atmosphere around your life has changed. You're not walking in circles anymore. You're walking into destiny. This season is not about working harder, it's about walking smarter. It's about moving when God moves. About understanding that open doors don't always come with loud announcements. Sometimes, they come quietly, in the form of peace, alignment, and undeniable clarity. So stand up, chosen one. Shake off hesitation. Wipe the dust from your shoes. And prepare your heart. Because as you begin to step forward in faith, you will discover that the doors have not only opened, they've been waiting for you. And from here, the journey deepens. What's ahead is not just about opportunity, it's about the people who will walk beside you in it. The next part of this divine unfolding reveals who God is sending to walk through those doors with you. Not just any people, but divine connections designed to elevate and multiply your assignment. Shall we continue? Sometimes, the greatest miracle God sends into your life doesn't come in the form of money, a promotion, or a business breakthrough. Sometimes, the miracle walks in wearing human skin. Sometimes, the miracle is a person, a divine connection, handpicked by heaven to walk beside you into your next chapter. Chosen one, you're entering a season where the people around you will no longer be accidental. The days of struggling alone, carrying burdens by yourself, and trying to build from scratch with no help are coming to an end. Because now, the Spirit of God is aligning you with the right people, people who are destined to find you, help you, and journey with you. These are not casual acquaintances. They are divine assignments. One of the most powerful things God can do for you is connect you with the right people at the right time. That's what the message says. And that's what God is doing behind the scenes right now. You may not see it yet, but He's already whispering your name in rooms you haven't entered. He's already speaking to the hearts of those He's chosen to help carry your calling. And these people, these divine connections, are not coming to compete with you, manipulate you, or take advantage of you. They're coming to build with you. They're coming to fight for your destiny like it's their own. These aren't the kind of relationships that take from you. These are the ones that pour into you, support you, and push you to walk in the fullness of your purpose. They won't arrive with fanfare. But when they show up, you'll recognize them by their spirit. You'll know them not by their title, but by the peace they bring. The alignment they offer. The way they speak into your dreams without ever needing to compete with them. They are answers to prayers you haven't even spoken aloud. And when they come, they won't just offer you encouragement, they'll offer you partnership. These divine connections will not just be coincidences. They will come at just the right time in just the right way. There is precision in God's plan. Nothing random. Nothing delayed. Nothing misaligned. Every person He's sending your way has a purpose in the construction of your next season. Whether it's a mentor with wisdom, a partner with resources, or a friend with spiritual insight, they are all bricks in the foundation of your financial breakthrough. These divine connections will become the foundation for your success and wealth. Take that in. Not just helpers. Not just cheerleaders. But foundational pieces. These people are part of the infrastructure of the life God is building with you and through you. Without them, your dream would be too heavy to carry alone. With them, it becomes a movement. So here's the question, will you be open when they come? Will you recognize the divine in the ordinary? Because the truth is, many people miss their miracles because they expect them to arrive in shining armor, dripping with confirmation. But God often sends help in humble wrapping. It might be a conversation that feels oddly aligned. A business offer that seems too perfect to be real. A friend who shows up with exactly the right word at the right moment. Will you be spiritually awake enough to see God's fingerprint in these moments? Don't let pride keep you isolated. Don't let past betrayals cause you to shut out the people God is sending now. Not everyone comes to hurt. Some come to heal. And some come to build with you. You were never meant to do this alone. God never designed you to walk through your calling in isolation. Yes, there were seasons where you were set apart, but that separation was preparation, not punishment. Now that the time has come to rise, God is surrounding you with people who can support the weight of the vision He placed inside you. And the beauty of it all? You won't need to chase these connections. You won't need to strategize or network endlessly. God is already working behind the scenes to align you with the people who will help you achieve your dreams. Your assignment is to remain in faith. Stay expectant. And prepare your heart to receive. Because when these people show up, the synergy will be undeniable. Doors will open faster. Strategies will become clearer. Finances will flow easier. And most importantly, your spirit will feel lighter, because you'll no longer be carrying the vision alone. These divine connections will not only unlock external opportunities. They'll unlock parts of you that have been dormant. Gifts you didn't know how to use. Confidence you forgot you had. Purpose that had gone quiet. They will awaken the destiny within you, not by force, but by alignment. So stay alert. Stay open. And stay humble. You're not just stepping into wealth. You're stepping into a tribe. A kingdom family. A team of divine collaborators sent by God to build something that can't be shaken. And as you take your place among them, your assignment will multiply. Your influence will stretch further. And your heart will expand with the joy of knowing you're no longer building alone. This is the season of divine alignment. And what's coming next will prove that the right people, sent by the right God, at the right time, can change everything. Now, take a breath. Because as the doors open and the right people arrive, you're about to discover something else. The greatest wealth you'll carry won't just be in your bank account, it will be flowing from the gifts God planted inside of you all along. The world teaches you that in order to prosper, you must constantly look outward, toward new jobs, better connections, higher salaries, or faster paths to success. But what if the very key to your wealth, your overflow, your divine provision, has been planted inside of you all along? Chosen one, you've been searching. You've been waiting. And you've prayed for external blessings to find you. But now, God is turning your gaze inward. Because within you lies a treasure, an untapped river of provision that was designed by heaven to flow in this season. The message is clear, your talent is your wellspring. God didn't place gifts inside you for decoration. He placed them there as blueprints for your assignment and as pipelines for divine wealth. The abundance you're seeking out there may actually be waiting to be unlocked in here, in your voice, your mind, your hands, your creativity, your wisdom. This is the time to look again at what you've overlooked in yourself. Have you ever dismissed your creativity because it didn't fit into a job title? Have you ignored your ideas because no one else seemed to understand them? Have you buried your passion because it didn't seem profitable? Yet, what if those very passions, the things that make your soul come alive, are actually the seeds God is ready to water into a harvest? You see, when God blesses His chosen ones, He doesn't always do it by sending opportunity through someone else. Sometimes, He opens your eyes to the gifts He already gave you. Your provision is not a mystery, it's a manifestation of what you've already been carrying. This is your wake-up call to dig deep. Your artistic eye. Your ability to organize. Your gift with words. Your spiritual insight. Your business sense. Your problem-solving mind. These are not casual traits. These are heavenly deposits. And when paired with obedience, they become channels of income, impact, and influence. You are sitting on a goldmine, the Spirit whispers. Not because of what's around you, but because of what's within you. Chosen one, God is not calling you to mimic anyone else. He is calling you to honor what He placed inside of you. Your gifts may not look flashy. They may not be viral. But they are divinely engineered to meet a need, fill a gap, solve a problem, and in doing so, to open the doors to financial breakthrough. Here's the truth, many people miss their miracle because they are too busy pursuing someone else's. But your miracle is tailor-made. Your stream of wealth isn't a copy-paste formula, it's a custom path carved through the use of your God-given abilities. So let me ask you, what do you do effortlessly that others find difficult? What do people come to you for, time and time again? What skill do you hide because you've convinced yourself it won't make money? What passion would you pursue full-time if money weren't a concern? These are not random questions. These are divine clues. The wealth that is coming your way is not a lucky break. It is the fruit of your faithfulness, and it begins to multiply when you step out and activate the seed God has planted in your life. But here's the key, it's not just about making money. It's about making meaning. When your gifts are used with intention, to serve, to inspire, to heal, to teach, to build, you become a conduit for heaven's abundance. In this season, God is calling you to stop striving and start stewarding. You don't need to chase every opportunity. You need to cultivate the one He already gave you. He doesn't need you to do 100 things. He needs you to be faithful in the one thing He designed just for you. Remember, in the parable of the talents, the servant who multiplied what he was given received even more, not because he had the most, but because he was faithful with the little. What have you been given, chosen one? What small skill, idea, or passion has God entrusted you with? Use it. Sharpen it. Offer it. And watch what God does next. Because when you operate in your anointing, provision flows with ease. The right clients appear. The right audience finds you. The opportunities align. The finances begin to move, not by accident, but by divine alignment. Your gift is not just a tool. It's a torch. And when lit, it lights the path not only for you, but for others who are waiting in the dark. So don't hide it. Don't delay. Don't diminish it. This is the season to unleash the wealth within. Because your creativity, your skills, your ideas, they are all part of God's financial strategy for your life. They were never meant to sit dormant. They were meant to fund your mission, to sustain your calling, and to bless others beyond what you can imagine. Your gift is God's signature on your destiny. And when you use it with boldness and faith, the result will be supernatural, not just success, but significance. So rise up, chosen one. Look inward, not outward. Uncover the wealth that's been waiting for you. And as you move in obedience and purpose, prepare to see new streams of income flow not from what you can hustle, but from who you truly are. Now get ready. Because what's about to be unlocked through your gift is only the beginning of what God has planned for you. There are moments in life when the shift is not just personal, it's heavenly. When the atmosphere doesn't just feel different, but divine. And this is one of those moments, chosen one. What's happening in your life is not simply a financial breakthrough or a personal win. It is a signal of something much larger, a divine reordering from the throne of heaven itself. We are stepping into a time when God is not only blessing individuals but orchestrating a massive spiritual transfer, a redistribution of power, provision, and purpose. What was once held by the unrighteous, those who misused influence and hoarded resources, is now being transferred into the hands of those who walk with clean hearts, clear minds, and holy assignments. This is not a theory. This is not a possibility. This is a divine decree already in motion. And here's the critical truth, you have been chosen to receive your portion. God is not simply inviting you to witness this transfer. He's calling you to participate in it. The spiritual assets of heaven, wisdom, vision, divine strategy, influence, even financial provision, are being placed into the hands of those He trusts to build, to lead, and to serve. And yes, that includes you. But with this portion comes responsibility. The blessings being transferred are not for personal indulgence or status, they are for holy stewardship. God is not handing out riches for luxury. He's releasing wealth for legacy. Are you prepared to handle what He is entrusting you with? This is the season when spiritual realignment is happening. Those who were once overlooked are being elevated. The last are becoming first. The faithful who have been hidden are now being positioned. But the question isn't whether the transfer is happening, it is. The real question is, are you ready to receive? Let that settle in your spirit. The kingdom of heaven is releasing keys to influence, strategy, innovation, and resources, and they are falling into the hands of the spiritually ready. Those who are not consumed with chasing wealth, but who are committed to carrying out kingdom work. Those who are not just hungry for opportunity, but surrendered to God's plan. Are you prepared to be one of them? This isn't about earning your portion through striving. It's about alignment. When your heart is aligned with heaven, your hands are ready to receive. And the wealth that's coming, it's not just money. It's vision. It's strategy. It's divine assignments. It's access. It's courage. It's favor. This is what heaven is pouring out now. And it is reserved for those who will not bury it in fear, but multiply it in faith. Let's be clear, you are not receiving simply to enjoy. You are receiving to activate. To invest. To build. To bless. This is not the time to think small. This is not the time to shrink back. God is trusting you to become a storehouse, not just a receiver. A vessel, not a container. A distributor, not just a consumer. Can He trust you to handle what others have mishandled? He is taking wealth out of the hands of the unrighteous, not just material wealth, but influence, creativity, and spiritual power, and placing it into the hands of those who will use it to bless the world and expand His kingdom. So ask yourself, what has God placed in your hands that you've ignored? What systems is He calling you to rebuild? What people is He preparing you to lead, empower, or liberate? The transfer is not waiting for a perfect moment. It's happening now. But only those who are spiritually, mentally, and emotionally prepared will be able to carry what's coming. This is the time to posture your heart, cleanse your motives, and open your hands. Because the blessing is already moving in your direction, and you must be ready to hold it, multiply it, and release it at the appointed time. The transfer has begun. The order of heaven is in motion. And you, chosen one, have been named as a receiver. But the question remains. Will you be found faithful enough to steward what God is about to place in your life? Don't let doubt make you miss what's already on its way. Don't let fear cause you to drop what you were born to carry. This is the hour when the spiritually prepared are being called forward, not just to be blessed, but to be a blessing. And as this transfer continues, the next shift won't come from the outside in, it will come from the inside out. There comes a moment in every faith journey when what once seemed impossible begins to unfold right before your eyes, not because you finally worked hard enough or found the right strategy, but because God chose to move. If you've been standing in a place of lack, wondering whether the breakthrough will ever come, this is your confirmation. You are entering the season where the financial miracles you've prayed for are becoming reality. Scripture reminds us that God's provision does not follow the rules of this world. In John 6, Jesus took a few loaves and fish and multiplied them until thousands were fed, and still, there were baskets left over. And in 2 Kings 4, the widow who faced crushing debt had only a small jar of oil, yet when she obeyed the prophet's instructions and poured it in faith, the oil did not stop flowing until every borrowed jar was filled. These aren't just stories, they're divine blueprints. They show us what happens when human obedience meets heavenly multiplication. Have you ever looked at what's in your hand and thought, this can't possibly be enough? That's exactly where miracles begin. The financial strain you've been under, the debts, the insufficiency, the doors that wouldn't open, those are not dead ends. They are stages being set for God's intervention. Because where you see limitation, He sees potential. And where you feel stuck, He is preparing to release overflow. What seemed impossible is about to become your testimony. You won't just talk about the miracles you've heard others experience. You will be the one others talk about. You will be the proof that God still answers prayers, that He still steps in and transforms lack into abundance. Those overdue bills. That stagnant business? That job you've outgrown? God is breathing life into all of it. But He's not just going to help you get by, He's preparing to launch you into a level of financial freedom you've never known. And the most powerful part of this message? The miracle isn't coming someday. It's not waiting until you're more qualified or more connected. It's not hidden behind 10 more sermons or 100 more prayers. It's already begun. This is your season. The financial miracle isn't pending, it's in progress. Can you feel the atmosphere shifting? Something is stirring in the unseen realm. Doors are creaking open. Provision is being released. And all of it is aligned to the timing and purpose of God. No longer will you say, maybe one day. No longer will you postpone your faith to a distant future. This is the moment to stand up and say, this is my time. My miracle is now. Because miracles don't begin with money. They begin with faith. And the kind of faith you've been building, through every sleepless night, through every act of obedience, through every tear-stained prayer, that faith is about to yield a harvest. You've waited. You've believed. You've stayed when others gave up. And now, heaven is responding. So ask yourself, what if today is the day things shift for good? What if the breakthrough you've been waiting for is already walking toward you? Are you positioned to receive it, or are you still looking backward, expecting more struggle? The testimonies of the past, of loaves, of jars, of overflow, aren't just for ancient times. They are repeating themselves now, in the lives of those bold enough to believe that God can still do the impossible. And here's the truth, the same God who multiplied fish and oil is about to multiply opportunity in your life. He is not finished with miracles. He is just beginning a new one, for you. There's no more room for passive waiting. This is the time to transition from hope to expectation, from wishing to walking by faith. The miracle is not a concept anymore, it's a reality forming in your finances, your career, your creativity, and your impact. You are not watching from the sidelines. You are stepping into the story. You are the vessel through which this miracle will pour, and the overflow will touch more than just your own needs, it will ripple into the lives of everyone connected to your purpose. The question is no longer, will it happen? The question is, are you ready? Because the season of waiting is closing. The season of watching others rise while you stood in the shadows, it's over. Now is the time to activate what's been promised. Now is the time to move in agreement with the miracle. Let your faith rise. Let your expectation match the size of your God. Because the promise is no longer pending, it's manifesting. And as we continue, we'll move from this place of spiritual assurance to the one action that unlocks everything, a faith-filled response. A divine movement. A step into what has already been ordained. For far too long, the pathway to wealth has been painted with sweat, exhaustion, and constant striving. Many of us have believed, perhaps unknowingly, that financial success only belongs to those who work themselves to the bone. That unless we're sacrificing every ounce of energy, pushing ourselves to the brink, we haven't earned the right to prosper. But what if that belief isn't divine? What if God is calling His chosen ones not to strive harder, but to rest deeper? This part of the journey is a shift in mindset, a spiritual reorientation. You're not being invited to work less, but to believe more. Because the prosperity God is bringing into your life is not something to be earned through burnout, it's a gift that has already been appointed to you by grace. True abundance isn't the result of ceaseless labor, but of radical trust. And rest isn't a sign of laziness, it's the highest expression of faith. Have you ever wondered why God instituted the Sabbath? Not just as a day off, but as a holy declaration that says, "You are not the source, I am." In the same way, He is now inviting you into a spiritual Sabbath regarding your finances. He is asking you to lay down the burden of performance and take up the posture of peace. You've been faithful. You've endured. You've moved through obedience. And now, it's time to receive without anxiety. What would happen if you stopped striving and started trusting? Imagine standing in the middle of a flowing river, arms open, not chasing the current, but letting it carry you. That is the image of divine provision. When you walk in alignment with God's will, you don't have to chase blessings, they flow to you. The stress, the mental clutter, the sleepless nights worrying if you're doing enough, they're not the indicators of faith. They're symptoms of fear. But God did not give you a spirit of fear. He gave you the spirit of sonship. And sons and daughters don't beg for bread, they sit at the table. You don't have to earn your place anymore. He's already seated you in heavenly places, and now He's inviting you to rest in the abundance that has been prepared for you. Yes, work has its place. Diligence is a virtue. But there is a holy difference between diligence and desperation. Desperation leads to burnout. Diligence, when guided by divine timing, leads to overflow. And this season isn't about working harder, it's about flowing with the Spirit, moving when He says move, and resting when He says rest. So here's the question, are you willing to receive without striving? Can you let go of the fear that if you rest, everything will fall apart? Because in truth, your striving was never the glue holding things together, God was. And He still is. When you rest in Him, you're not losing momentum. You're gaining alignment. The wealth you are stepping into is not the result of hustle, it is the fruit of obedience and trust. God is not rewarding your exhaustion, He is honoring your surrender. That's the real difference. Anyone can work themselves to death and still fall short. But only the chosen walk into supernatural provision by doing what seems countercultural, they rest. And in that rest, doors open. Opportunities flow. Provision comes, not because you forced it, but because God breathed on it. This is your invitation to breathe again. To sleep peacefully knowing that while you rest, heaven works. To move from survival mode into a lifestyle of abundance where your hands are open, your heart is light, and your steps are guided not by panic but by peace. Let go of the pressure. Let go of the lie that says, if I stop, I'll fall behind. You're not running someone else's race. You are being guided on a path custom designed by God Himself. Your only task now is to stay in rhythm with His grace. So stop asking, am I doing enough, and start asking, am I trusting enough? Because rest is not the absence of work. It is the presence of confidence in God. And when that confidence becomes your default, you will find that the blessings start to chase you down, unexpected, unearned, yet fully yours. This is the moment to rest, not in apathy, but in alignment. To walk forward with a quiet spirit, knowing the weight has been lifted, the burden removed, and the blessing released. And as we now prepare to take the final step in this journey, you'll see that rest is not the end. It's the beginning of action rooted in faith, a faith that moves without fear, sows without scarcity, and receives without apology. Let's now move forward into that final call to respond, not with striving, but with bold, peaceful obedience. There comes a moment in every divine message where belief must become motion. Where the stirring of the heart must lead to the movement of the feet. And for you, chosen one, that moment is now. You've heard the word, you've felt it resonate in your spirit, and now the invitation is no longer to just reflect, but to respond. Because wealth in the kingdom of God isn't just unlocked by prayer. It's activated by faith. And faith always moves. You see, anyone can wish for breakthrough. Many can pray for provision. But only those who dare to act in alignment with God's promises, before seeing them materialize, truly step into the supernatural. In Scripture, miracles never followed passivity. They followed bold obedience. The woman who poured her last oil did not wait for confirmation, she moved. The boy who offered 5 loaves and 2 fish didn't calculate potential, he gave. And every time, heaven responded. So what about you? If you believe this word was for you, what are you going to do with it? Will it sit in your heart like a seed that never touches soil? Or will you plant it, water it, with real steps of faith? That's what this final call is about. A sacred challenge to declare, I believe God has spoken, and I will move accordingly. Not tomorrow. Not someday. But now. And no, this isn't about grand gestures or massive sacrifices. This is about alignment. It's about making room in your life to receive what God has already released in the Spirit. Sometimes, that starts with something as simple as a declaration, a public confession that says, I receive what God has already decided for me. So, if this message spoke to your spirit, I invite you to take a bold, symbolic step. Leave a comment below, not a generic phrase, but a declaration. Write it like a seed. Say, this is my moment, or I receive my divine inheritance, or simply, I believe. Let that comment be a spiritual marker, a way to say to heaven and earth alike, I'm stepping into alignment. Then, if you feel led, share this video. Not as a routine click, but as an act of spiritual generosity. When you share a message of breakthrough, you become a vessel of blessing. You are not only receiving the overflow, you are becoming a distributor of abundance, just as God has called you to be. And finally, subscribe to the channel. Not just to support the message, but to stay connected with the flow of God's Word as it continues to unfold in your life. Think of it not as a digital transaction, but as a spiritual connection, one that keeps your heart aligned with a community of faith and purpose. Because here's the truth, God has already decided your breakthrough. The question now is, will you agree with Him? Will you step forward even though the full picture isn't yet clear? Will you walk as if the doors are already open, the provision already flowing, the promotion already yours? Because when you do, you're not manipulating God's hand, you're meeting Him in the very place He's already waiting for you. Faith is not waiting for the light to turn green, it's stepping forward while it's still red, because you trust the one who controls the traffic. It's moving when logic says pause, because your spirit hears the whisper, now. So this is your moment. Don't let fear disguise itself as wisdom. Don't let hesitation steal the harvest. Don't let the enemy convince you that what God already said isn't real just because you haven't touched it yet. God's word is more solid than the ground beneath your feet. And today, it's calling you to act. Declare it. Share it. Step into it. This is your moment. God has already decided. And if you believe that, deeply believe it, then move like it. Like. Comment. Share. Subscribe. Not out of habit, but out of holy alignment. Because the heavens have spoken. And the only thing left is your response.